Imagine waking up the following day after a full, undisturbed night of deep sleep, without having to rush to the restroom or experience frustration during the quiet hours. Just rest that truly helps you recover. This is the kind of burden that creeps in after 60 and turns simple pleasures like a good movie or a long drive into continual disruptions. Your body has been silently bearing it for far too long. What if a simple vegetable that's already in your refrigerator could begin to relieve that pressure, calming your prostate and restoring a more natural, smoother flow of urine? Because it's concealed in common foods rather than ostentatious medications, most men are unaware of this. However, if you make it deliberate, the change can start slowly and occasionally become apparent in a matter of days. Prostate swelling is not a random occurrence. Rather, it is the result of years of chronic low-grade inflammation that presses against the urine-carrying tube, making every bathroom visit feel urgent and unfinished. Energy flows more smoothly, sleep gets deeper, and confidence subtly returns when that inflammation subsides. Among common vegetables, broccoli stands out as a mild powerhouse. Consider the compound sulforaphane, which is released when you chop or lightly steam it. It functions similarly to a natural cleaner by reducing inflammatory signals within the prostate tissue. Regularly bringing it in makes men's nights longer and their stream stronger. I remember a retired engineer man in his late 60s who had stopped organizing evening activities because he was so sick of waking up 3 times a night. After initially dismissing the idea, broccoli, really? He began including steamed broccoli florets in his dinners 4 times a week, drizzling them with olive oil to improve absorption. Those disruptions decreased to once, and occasionally none, within a month and a half. When he described it, his face changed, not dramatically, but with a quiet relief, as if his body had begun to listen once more. That little change reminded him of the feeling of constant energy, the kind that allows you to take a stroll without having to figure out how often you'll need to use the restroom. To maintain that active ingredient, lightly steam it. Combine it with good fat and allow it to become a habit rather than a chore. Additionally, your circulation improves because waste is cleared more effectively and nutrients are able to reach tissues that require repair. Your entire system breathes easier when inflammation subsides. Type yes in the comments if you are experiencing that feeling of relief at the moment. Next are the tomatoes, which are cooked down into a richer texture rather than being served raw. When you eat them warm, especially with a little oil on them, the red pigment lycopene accumulates in the prostate tissue. It protects cells from oxidative stress, the gradual deterioration that causes swelling and pain. Consider roasted tomato halves with herbs or a homemade sauce simmering on the stove. Cooked tomatoes provide far more usable lycopene than fresh ones. I knew a former firefighter in his early 60s who detested the way his evenings were disrupted by incessant cravings. When I proposed more tomato-based dishes, he chuckled and claimed that tomatoes only appeared in his burgers. A few times a week, he began preparing his own sauces, slow cooking them with olive oil and garlic and serving them over pasta or as soup. A few weeks later, his nights became more consistent, stronger flow, fewer awakenings, and most significantly, he felt in charge of his body once more, rather than the other way around. Numbers on a chart are not as important as that change in mastery. In addition to helping the prostate, lycopene also promotes heart health by maintaining the flexibility of blood vessels, which allows blood to flow where it is needed. A healthy circulation boosts your energy levels. Pasta with real tomato sauce becomes more than just a meal. It's long-term, silent support. Ready is a comment if you're still with me. Brussels sprouts are frequently disregarded because they evoke childhood memories of bitterness. However, they become crisp and sweet when roasted until the edges caramelize, and their special compounds start to balance hormones. Prostate growth may be stimulated by the accumulation of estrogen-like substances with aging. These sprouts contain indole compounds, which indirectly reduce pressure by assisting the liver in eliminating excesses. A 74-year-old former mail carrier had tried everything. His days were stressful and his nights were broken. Adding roasted Brussels sprouts 2 or 3 times a week made a big difference, even though he was already eating some broccoli and tomatoes. He roasted large quantities, stored them in the refrigerator, and tossed them with lemon juice and olive oil. He soon resumed sleeping for extended periods of time, his flow improved, and he exuded pride once more. The benefits of those sprouts aren't immediately apparent. They restore equilibrium gradually, reducing the amount of effort required on your body. To bring out the flavor, roast them quickly and hot. You'll notice that the bitterness goes away. Your hormones stabilize, the inflammation lessens, and you feel more capable of getting better. Next comes garlic, which releases its raw power when crushed. rested for a short time, and then cooked gently. Smoldering inflammation is naturally dampened by its sulfur compounds. Better blood flow ensues, supplying nutrients and oxygen to the precise locations where tissues require repair. A 60-year-old man had run out of traditional options. Side effects drained him. He began crushing fresh cloves, waiting 10 minutes, and then stirring them into soups, dressings, and sautés with his wife, who loved Italian cooking. After several months, his awakenings decreased by half, his sense of urgency subsided, and he felt as though his system was functioning normally again. Men are frequently most surprised by that renewed vitality. When properly prepared, fresh garlic adds depth to food while subtly putting out a low fire within. Stronger circulation throughout your body supports overall masculine energy, which also benefits your heart. The circle is completed by pumpkin seeds, which are easy to eat, small, and rich in zinc, which has a direct impact on hormone signals related to prostate size. Zinc deficiency subtly exacerbates symptoms and allows DHT to accumulate unchecked. Levels are naturally restored by eating a handful every day, either raw or lightly toasted. Before we added those seeds, a 66-year-old who had good habits saw no improvement. He carried jars with him, ate them as snacks, and sprinkled them on salads. He sat through shows for weeks without taking frequent breaks, and the nights became easier and the flow more powerful. A simple handful outperformed years of other tries. He smiled. By preserving equilibrium, those seeds slow down enlargement. If at all possible, keep them unroasted and simple, and allow consistency to create the effect. These 5 work together to provide layers of support by reducing inflammation, regulating hormones, shielding cells, and enhancing blood flow. They compound every day, but no one person does everything. When a man in his 70s put them together, he said it was finally providing his body with what it had been pleading for years. Complete sleep came back, energy leveled out, and confidence increased slightly, making travel plans without fear, spending evenings without restraint. That freedom is important. Your decisions, not your age, are what bind you. Start with one, such as crushing garlic tomorrow or perhaps broccoli tonight. Allow it to become a weekly ritual. When care is given consistently, the body reacts. You regain your vitality, comfort, and the basic delight of unbroken days and nights. Tell us which one appeals to you the most in your comment if you're prepared to give it a shot. Someone else watching might find their path illuminated by your story. Share this with a friend who needs it. Hit like if it resonated with you. Subscribe for more on natural ways to stay vibrant after 60 and keep returning. We're all in this together for stronger, more independent years to come.